Hi guys, it's Donna, and I wanted to make my video for the coloring pages that I have completed for the month of November. Most of these are, well, all of these besides one are winter or Christmas themed. That was kind of where I was at over the month of November. So I think I have probably over 50 of these here. I've been very, very busy coloring. More coloring, less collecting. That's what I promised you guys. And I'm trying to deliver on that. So let's jump right in. This is my Fairy Merry Christmas book, Deborah Muller. I did this pretty little fairy here and added some stickles. Okay. And then this one was from my color and chat, and the video turned out really horrible. I apologize for that, guys. I know it was sideways instead of, it was very small on your screen. And I apologize. I'm not really sure exactly what went wrong with that. Okay. I have this little cutie here, and I did this today, actually. I just wanted something a little, I wanted to add some yellow. I thought it might be, really pretty pastel looking, and yeah, and her wings are actually leaves, which I thought was really neat. And I put some Whimsical on her wings and things like that. Yeah. And here's a little Christmas fairy, and she has Rudolph antlers, and I put stickles in her wings and on the holly. Here's my blue fairy. Stickles on all of her wings and her bow and the dots on her dress and the ruffles. And I did this little lady today also. I went a little different and used purple for the leaves on the holly. And then I used Whimsical inside of her wings and on the bows and the holly. And I think that's going to be it for this book. Yep. This was my Hello Kitty and Friends coloring book. I did one in here. And I almost forgot to, I was not going to include this. I had honestly forgot about coloring this, and I saw Anne, her video today for her completed pages, and her her Christmas wizard with the flying reindeer wolf. And she had mentioned that she was, talking to me when she did this, and it was a cute little joke that we came up with that, how clever that was. And I was like, yeah, run with that. Just go with it. And this is what I was coloring at the time. And that's what reminded me when I saw her video today. I was just kind of laying some, just some marker down to paper. I really love Hello Kitty. So there's that. And then this is my Christmas Circles coloring book, Tabitha Barnett. I've really enjoyed this book, and I think I will definitely get her, her Broken Circles books. I've got those in my wish list, so, I won't forget about those. I did the Pretty Little Angels. I thought these were such cute little angels. I really enjoyed that one. And I did the Candy Canes, purple and pink. Did some stickles on the leaves and the bows, and also in the darker purple on the candy canes. And then I have, let me see, is this lighting okay? It just seems like it just looks dark from my angle, but I don't want it to get where there's lots of shadows either. This is, of course, little deer. And it's like a little deer mandala. I think it's really cute. I enjoyed this one a lot. It was just something, fun. And this is Santa. And I have placed stickles on all of the snow, on the Christmas tree, the top of the sign here, and everything. Okay. And here's a little Santa mandala. And this was actually done with my Tombow water base markers. So, I mean, you can see some of the streaks in Santa's suit, but that's okay. It was nice to use those. It had been a little while. And that's going to be it for this book. And then I have my Mega Winter Holiday Coloring Book from Dewana Stoltzfus. This one, it's an old one. It's an old one. Here we go. This one didn't get marked. Stockings, and I really enjoyed doing this one. It was very relaxing. The whole mandala and just, you know, laying down the color. It took quite a while to put the color down. It's crazy that, you know, I can color some things a lot faster, but it seems like, you know, mandalas seem to take a lot longer, even though people, you know, will refer to them a lot of times as mindless coloring, but it does take me a lot longer. And here are the stockings. I did this on the Color and Chat, and what I decided to do with the background, and I messed up a little here. I forgot to clean this off, but I put just some pencils down on the background, and then I used odorless mineral spirits just to kind of blend that in a little bit. It was the first time that I tried that, and I've kind of been playing around a little bit with pencils and backgrounds some, you know, just to see how that'll work out, and maybe that can be something, you know, that I want to use more, you know, in the future. Little gingerbread in a teacup. Gingerbread girl in a teacup. Of course, I use stickles. Stickles everywhere. And that's going to be it for this book. And then this is Lacey Sunshine's Christmas Joy, Greatest Hits, Heather Valentin. I don't know how that did not get a sticker. That one didn't either. These are my little Christmas trees. I had so much fun with these. They are so cute. And then I did the snow. I used pencil and mineral spirits to put, you know, the bluish onto the snow and into the snow on the top of her head. And then I used some pencils just for some shading around the Christmas tree, or the trees. And this is just adorable. I loved this so much. This was so much fun to color. And I used stickles all here to make it look like shiny, like the cellophane wrap. Isn't she precious? I love so many of these images. I did use some pencil to try to shade in the star in her dress and a little bit into her hair. I'm just, you know, into the arch, I guess. And I'm really new to using pencils for that type of thing. So, you know, it's a learning progress. I put some little rosy cheeks on her. Aw, this was the first picture that I ever used the pencils for the shading ever. So, you know, I had a lot of fun with this. Before that, if I could not shade with my markers, I didn't shade. But then when I decided that I really wanted to color, and especially the Create Space type paper in the books, you oversaturate and it really doesn't look that great when you use your markers. So, you know, the best way to do that is to go in and do that with pencil. So I figured, you know, hey, it's time to pull those pencils out and give them some use. And that's it for this book. And this is Winter Windlings, Edwina McNamee. Here's my little acorn tree. with the mushrooms. And of course I used lots of stickles, and I actually used markers to shade the snow here. Okay. And here, I'm thinking, I mean, this is what I went with. These, in my mind, this was the 3 blind mice. That's just kind of where my mind went when I saw this. I'm not sure if that was Heather, not Heather, I am so sorry, Edwina. I'm not sure if that was her her thinking on this when she drew this page, but I mean, that's just kind of where my mind went to. And I think this was the first image that I colored in this book. This is one of the ones that actually have the black background in Edwina's Macrame's books. She'll have 2 of each image, one with a black background and one with a white background. I've not colored the one with the white background yet. Okay. And this is Winter Dreamlings. Also Edwina Macrame, or Macrame, I think that's correct. Aren't the deers just adorable? I love, love, love the deers. And I don't know if you guys can see this really well or not, but there are some marker lines here that are left behind. I found that the paper in Edwina Macrame's books, at least the 2 that I have right now, I'm finding that all Create Space is not created equal, and I don't want to say this is worse or better. You know, I'm not sure, but what I have found is that, you know, you have to lay your marker down quickly. You cannot let it dry. If it dries, you're going to get these lines and these streaks, and it did not seem to matter. I have some here. I have some here. It seems like the markers are just drying up. I mean, they're just drying super fast on this particular paper that are in these 2 books. And that's my deer, and they've got their stickles on their bow and their scarf and antlers, and on their little feet in the snow, and each little the little snowballs. And here's this deer, and I was really not satisfied with the way this picture turned out at all. I had first attempted to go in with Posca pen and kind of do some highlights on the leaves, and I didn't like the way it looked at all, so I went back in with stickles to try to cover up the Posca pen, and the color of the deer turned out much more pinky than I wanted it to be. I think I wanted the deer to be more of this color, like in the face of the owl, and then, you know, some lighter highlights on the deer. But, I mean, sometimes you just get what you get. It's still a really cute image, though. And then I have this one, which is also on the black background, and this, again, has the streaks here from the markers. I just could not put the marker down fast enough to avoid those streaks. It was just, the paper was just soaking that marker in and drying it so quickly. And, you know, it just, I was not expecting, you know, I don't believe I've ever seen alcohol markers dry as fast as they seem to dry in these books. Okay. This is my Christmas coloring book, volume 2, Jade Summer. I did the little Christmas room here with all the presents and the tree and the fireplace. And, of course, stickles, stickles, stickles. Okay. And then I did this, the front of this house, and I did not do any stickles or any shading or anything on this. I really didn't feel like it. I just wanted to, you know, color something, and I grabbed it, and I just did this as I was listening to TV with my husband a few days ago. It may have been over the weekend, last weekend. And I have my birdhouses with my birds. And this seemed to turn out much more autumny than wintry. But I mean, I guess that was okay because I believe I colored this pretty early on in the month. So, yeah. And that's it for this book. Here is my Creative Haven ugly holiday sweaters, and maybe you guys can help me out a little bit on one of these pictures. It's finished but yet a whip all at the same time. I guess it would still be a whip. Here is my little drummer boy. I was having a lot of problems here. I mean, this was a lot to cover in marker and the streaks. And then I thought, you know what? Maybe it'll just look like lighting coming from different directions, because each of these shirts, you see, do have a pattern over this anyhow. So it kind of gave it a little bit of a background. So there's a little drummer boy. Here's my cats. And I had Stickles smear. And when it's smeared, it was red stickle, the red color Stickles. It's smeared and it actually stained parts of the shirt. And I totally forgot to do the border. I just realized that. Shame, shame. And here's the one you guys can help me out on. I don't know what to do with this little fella's eyes. I was at a loss. I wasn't sure what to do, so I left it alone, and I figured I would come back later when I figured out what to do with those eyes. So if you guys have any suggestions of what I should do with those big googly eyes, that would be wonderful. And this is Christmas Mandalas Children and Adult Coloring Book. Stress relief mandalas. Here is Santa's bags with presents and bows, and Santa's gloves with the star. And I came in with Stickles on the bows and on the fur here around the gloves and around the top of the bag. I believe that's the only one I've done, yep, in this book. And here is Design Originals Christmas Coloring Book. This is my Santa with his ugly Christmas sweater. And he's standing in the trees. You have the little deer popping his head around. Of course, Stickles everywhere. And I could not remember if I colored this in November or not, but I did include it. This actually may have been colored in October when I first got the book. I cannot remember. I included it for good measure. And this is Inky Christmas, Helen Elliston. I've only done one in here. It's very small, so I think I'm going to need to use my, maybe I can use some Sharpies, maybe, or my fine liners or something for the rest of the book. But this, I love this. When I saw this picture, I was like, okay, I've got to color this. This reminded me, does anybody have any idea what this reminded me of before I tell you guys? And if you guess this, I want you to leave me a comment down below and let me know that you guessed it before I said it. Any ideas, guys? This reminded me of Miley Cyrus and her Wrecking Ball video. That is exactly where my mind went when I saw this picture. Okie dokie. Here is Lacey Sunshine's For the Love of Rory Greatest Hits coloring book, 50 images, and you guys know that Anne and I did a grayscale collab with the Jade Summer books, and I had a blast doing that. And then I had gotten this book in the mail. It was on order at the time, and when I got the book, it had some grayscale images in the back. And I thought, why not? So this was my second grayscale image ever. And grayscale is really not that scary, guys. I mean, it's truly not. Sometimes if things are kind of in the shadows too much, you know, I had a hard time, a little bit of a hard time trying to distinguish, you know, this area just right here for some reason. But I mean, other than that, it was so easy. It really was easy, guys. And I think that's the only Christmas image in that book. So that book will be put up for a little bit. And here is HannaLan, a Whimsy Girls Christmas coloring book. And I am no good at skin tones. And I have avoided HannaLan books for so long because I did not know how to color the faces and the eyes. Because, you know, they're gorgeous. And I see everyone coloring these and they look absolutely amazing. But then I thought, you know, I'm just going to get it. And who cares? You know, if it doesn't look like, you know, some of the others that I've seen. And I mean, I'm enjoying the HannaLan, and I mean, I'll probably get more HannaLan books, and hopefully I'll get better with this, you know, over time. Excuse me. And here is my mermaid underwater, or the under the sea, excuse me, Christmas scene. She's holding the little snow globe, and it looks like Shamu. It's got a little killer whale inside, and the killer whale's wearing a Santa hat. I thought that was really, really cute. Here's a mermaid on Christmas Eve, and Santa is making his rounds. And here is my little deer girl. I think she's so cute. I did her nose red, you know, just to kind of have the little Rudolph bit to it. And then I completed this one, and I used lots of stickles here just to make this glitter, and on the little fairy wings. And I've got a question for you guys. When you color trees and wood in general, what color do you color that? And the reason I ask is because I was working on an image that's still a WIP, and there was wood in the fireplace. And I was showing my husband, and he said, you really shouldn't have used that brown. Wood's not that color. And I was like, well, what color is it? And he said, honestly, it has a more of a gray hue. And I was like, So the next day when we were out and about, I was noticing all the trees. The trees really are almost a gray color. And that I had never really noticed that before. I had always used browns in my woods. So this was the first picture that I did with any wood in after he and I had that conversation. So with the trees, I went with a green gray. I thought that looked closest, maybe to what I was seeing when I was looking at the trees the day before. So I mean, what color do you guys use for wood? Comment below. Here is Deborah Muller, Winter Woodland Wonderland, Give me 1 second. I'm going to need to... Oh, I did not mean to do the camera, guys. I'm so sorry. I need a sip of my coffee. My throat was getting very scratchy and dry. Okay. Here's my little bunny girl. I enjoyed doing this one. And the elf with the reindeer. I thought this picture was absolutely adorable. And I was, you know, I was battling this background here when I went in with my marker. I mean, I was battling it hard to try to get it down fast enough that I was not going to have the lines. And it just wasn't happening. I would have like a line here, and a line here, and a line here, and a line. And I was like, okay, I've had enough of this. So what I ended up doing when it was complete is I went back in and just kind of did some flicking motions with the marker just to kind of make it a more of a uniformed look. I mean, I really didn't know what else to do other than that. And this, I think, was the image when I said, okay, I've got to find another way to do backgrounds. And I thought maybe pencil might be an option. It does use a lot of marker ink in the backgrounds. Okay. Here's the reindeer with the owl. And I used a light lavender on the background here. I think it was a lilac is what it said it was. And I thought it looked very, very pretty. And again, I did my tree gray, green. I'm having a hard time with the whole brown tree thing now. All right, and this is Lacey Sunshine. Oh, slow down. Lacey Sunshine Presents Holidays, the Greatest Hits Coloring Book. I'm really enjoying Heather Valentin. I did not have any of her books, so this is all new to me. I thought she was just very, very precious sitting there on the gift box. And then I did this lady. She kind of reminded me of almost, I don't know, is that kind of, I don't know. On one hand, I thought a Japanese kind of look, but maybe that's not right. And I had tried to do some shading in her hair. And when I was blending with the mineral spirits, it had gotten out of the lines here. And it bled the pigments that I was using for the shading onto the white of the paper. You know, things like that happen sometimes. Excuse me. Here's the little angel. Oh, I am so sorry. My husband is actually, he's at work, but he's at work sick. He has developed, the doctor said if the test had not been negative, that he was convinced he had strep throat. But I don't think his fever had been high enough, and I do not believe his throat was sore enough for that. But he was given, you know, some medications and things, and I'm a little chugged up, and I think I may have a touch of whatever he had. But he did go into work today, and my husband is diabetic, and he's on medications for that, and his numbers are very, very well controlled, and his blood sugar was running no higher than about 106, and that was even with a lot of cheating over Thanksgiving and leading up to Thanksgiving, and they had given him a steroid shot because he was so congested yesterday. And it was prednisone, and prednisone or steroids will raise your blood sugar. And then he said that he couldn't sleep last night. He was up using the bathroom all throughout the night. He knew that he was pretty sure his blood sugar was up. When he got up this morning, he tested his blood sugar, which he normally doesn't test every day anymore because his A1C has been so good and the numbers have been so great. And it was 356, which is very high. So no more of that, no matter how sick he gets, I guess. And then he goes to work and he started to not feel very good. And he was, flushed. And we found out he also has blood pressure issues. And his blood pressure was at 190 over 120 or something like that. So he's having kind of a rough time right now. It's always something. Okay. This is my Zen Doodle coloring. This was the deluxe, Winter Wonderland. This was the deluxe edition. It did have pencils here when it was purchased. I just taped these pages together. Okay, I did this window scene. Looking into the living room with our Christmas tree and the fireplace. I believe that's it for this book. No. Oh, goodness. I really should have put a mint or something in my mouth before I started filming. I'm sorry. And this is my Zen Doodle Coloring Presents Deluxe Edition. Keep Merry and Color On. And that was done early when I first got the book. I think back in like maybe September, October. Okay. Excuse me, I did this tree, and I was just playing with my markers at the time and just laying those down. I've decided going into the new year, I'm going to try to make a resolution to use my pencils. I really want to start working on pencil work. Okay. This is Hello Winter. It's been in publications. And I have one in here. I did this house, and I did not go in and shade the snow. I should have. I just laid some stickles down, and I really should have done some shading on the snow, but I was not familiar even with how to shade very well with pencil at the time. And I knew that the markers would probably not look all that great. So I ended up not shading. I actually might go back and shade this in some if I can. I'm not sure if I can since I've laid stickles. Probably not. So maybe not. Okay. And then this is the Chibi Girls Graysdale coloring book. This one was from Anne and I. And this was my completed little girl, and my rabbits really do look almost possessed, as I was afraid they would. But oh well. This was a lot of fun. I cannot wait to color more in this book. Thank you for the suggestion, Anne, and you were right. Okay, this is by far I believe my most favorite coloring book right now. I believe this will be the first coloring book that I finish cover to cover. I love all the images in it, and it doesn't take an awful lot of time to do these images. I've been putting down marker with a base and going in with stickles and things like that, just to accent it. So it's, much faster than if I were doing everything in pencil. But I've had a blast with this book, and I really believe I'll finish it. And I may finish it before Christmas this year. And if I do not, I will probably do some Christmas in July. And I'm sure I'll have it finished by July. Or by the end of July. And this is my little girl riding on her Christmas ball here. My ho 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 girl. Somebody's going to comment on that. I know. Keep it family friendly. All right. Here's the girl with the Christmas Santa's bag. She's gotten Santa's bag. Fun, fun, fun. And I have this little lady. Here's Naughty is the New Nice. I love this. And I have this lady here. I stickled her up real good. She is all kinds of nice and shiny. I don't know if you guys can really pick up those stickles or not. Maybe. This is my baby. It's cold outside. And it is cold outside here. It has been in the 20s the past 2 nights. I have been freezing for the past 3 days. I went out today and bought new jammies and some sweatpants and things like that because I had to have something thicker and warmer. And there is a story behind this girl. I believed this was going to be my most favorite picture in the book, and I was so excited to get started with this, and then it seemed like everything that could go wrong went wrong. I first began to use the purple on her shirt here, and it was almost dried, and I'm like, really, this, I mean, the marker was not that old. It's one of the Touch 5s, and I really, I don't think I'll buy any more of the Touch 5 Touch News. I don't think I'll do that. But this, it was just, it was horrible what was happening, and I was like, no. So just to get this down, I had to add a little bit of alcohol to the marker just to try to reconstitute it enough that I could get this done. And I thought, okay, so everything's good to go now. So I finished, you know, this part of the page and things. And then I realized when I started doing the background, the exact same thing happened. The color was running out. Another Touch 5 marker. I promise you, I promise I am not telling a lie. I have not used these markers enough for any of those Touch 5s to be running out of ink. So there's something about them drying out as they sit. And yeah, so I was like, okay, this is not going to work. I had to switch over, and I had to use, I believe, a Cali Art to go into this. I couldn't match the color, so there was a line here, and I'm getting really, really frustrated. And I'm thinking, and I even spilled some coffee on it, and I was just ready to cry because I was so excited about doing this one. So I'm going along, and I'm trying to do, there's like, it's splattered here, and I'm trying to do what I can to do something to cover that up. And then this had happened, and then I thought, that's it, right? I'm finished with the picture. It's done. I've saved what I can. It's at least salvageable. It's showable. And then I realized that I was going to have to use the same colors on this side, because when I was coloring that background, the barrier that I had placed in between to avoid bleed through bled straight through. So all in here was this color of blue. But yeah, so I used the same Cali Arts blue, and then I used darker blues here just to try to cover that blueness up there. And then I was having all kinds of marker bleed because I was having a hard time you know, there again, working fast to keep that, to attempt to keep the lines from being there. And I thought, okay, switch to the chisel tip, switch to the chisel. And I did, and then it was putting out much more ink than I could handle, and it was darker than these areas. So yeah, that's what happened here. So this was kind of this page was more of a, let's throw these colors down and see if we can just salvage something that ruined from here. And then here's this pretty little girl. I did her today. Little gingerbread man with his little tongue sticking out. He just came out of the oven. He's hot, people. And that's it for this book for now. And this is my Heather Valentin Magic Garden Coloring Book Greatest Hits. And I do not know why I'm showing this to you guys right now. This is supposed to be a flip through. This was going to be another video. I was going to do a flip through. I do not believe there's any Christmas in here. I have not colored in here. This book was just received. So, that is it for the pictures that I colored for the month of November. I almost said December. I'll be working on more holiday coloring throughout this month. And as always, I will post my pictures over on Instagram unless for some reason I forget to post it. And then, of course, every month I'm going to do a video like this. I think they're lots of fun. Now, I've got a question for you guys if you've actually hung in there with me for this long. Does it bother any of you that I film from my lazy chair, my lazy boy chair? And I ask that because, and I just want to explain why I use my chair instead of a desk. I have very bad hips. And they hurt and they cause lower back pain as well. And to sit in a hard chair at a desk, I can't hardly sit through an entire meal at dinner time without that hurting in my back. Anytime we go to a restaurant, I always request a booth if it's available, and I will wait for a booth to become available if they do have booths and they're just all full, because it is just so much more comfortable. And that's why I color in the chair. The reason I film in the chair is because I do not have an area in the house that I could be at a table or a desk that is not a shared area with other people in the house, so I would not have that quiet private time for filming. I hope that doesn't bother you guys. I even was thinking earlier that I could get something that I could sit across the top of my nice lazy chair that would look like a desk. Of course, you would see the movement, so I'm not sure. But does this bother you guys? And I mean, if it does, please be honest. I'm learning. I'm doing everything I can do to try to figure out how to you know, film these things really great, because I want to share things with you guys so much. So that's it for this video. And if you enjoyed the video, please like my video and subscribe to my channel to be notified when I have future uploads. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day, morning, evening, afternoon, whatever it happens to be in your part of the world right now. And until next time, peace, love, and happy coloring. Bye, guys.